What's up, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. I hope you guys are having a great and amazing day. In today's video, your girl is finally coming to you guys with my January wrap up. Now I know it's a little late. It's a little late. I ain't gonna cap, but better late than never, I say. So yeah. Also, I am recording this on my new camera, the EOS M50 Mark II. You guys already know. You should know about this because I unboxed it on this channel, and that should have already came out by the time you're watching this video. So yeah, I am recording on this camera, just trying to get a feel for it. So please tell me how you guys feel about it in the comments down below. Do you like it? I definitely do notice a audio change with the G7X in this camera, and I also do have the mic plugged in. I did a little sound check just to make sure it was plugged in correctly, and it is. So yeah, but yeah, I have to get used to it because I gotta look now directly at you guys instead of looking at the viewfinder on the right. But yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and get into the January wrap up. Also, I want to let you guys know I've kind of got my wrap ups now a little bit more organized than usual. So instead of me just rambling on and on about all the books that I read this month, I decided to put them in categories from how I rated them. So I have basically the lowest rating from either 1 star, 2 star, 3 star, 4 star, or 5 star. You'll be shocked if you ever even hear me do like a 2 star or a 1 star review, to be honest with you, because y'all know I'm a DNF queen. I have no problem DNFing the book. If your girl ain't feeling it, I ain't gonna read it. But I do actually have a low rated book on here, shockingly. But anyways, so I'm gonna just basically do my wrap ups in that order, so it could just be like more, you know, having like a smooth pace and not just all over the place. So I have them written down right here on my tablet. I have them written down from star rating that I gave them. And then I also have like some of the characters' names just so I can, you know, it could be a lot more smooth with me, you know, giving you guys the summary of what I read. Because let me be honest, I read a total of 12 books in the first month. Can we give me a round of applause, okay? Round of applause, please, for 12 books. We starting off the year strong, because I believe my goal is either 100 books or 110 books or something along those lines. So your girls we gotta get it popping, okay? So yeah, I read a total of 12 books this month, or last month, and so yeah, let's just go ahead and get straight into the video. Oh, and I also want to mention I have these in order by star ratings, but also I'm going to start off with the lowest star rating and then build my way up to my very 5-star top tier 10 out of 10 would recommend books. So that's pretty much how I have my books set in order. So we're going to go ahead and start off with my first book, my lowest rated book of January, which was going to be 2 stars, and that is none other than November 9. Yes, you guys know, you should know this because I did a reading vlog of this. This is my first ever Colleen Hoover book that I've read. Yeah, it's about the 2 characters of Fallon and Ben, and you know, their whole relationship, their whole meeting up at a certain place on November 9, only knowing each other for a total of pretty much 24 hours because they only meet up on November 9 for a set amount of hours because they're, you know, having their own thing, doing their own stuff. So yeah, November 9th coming in at the first book I'm reviewing of January at 2 stars. I didn't hate it. I know 2 stars sounds really bad, like oh my god, this was the worst book ever. Even though, did it keep me entertained? Yes, definitely kept me entertained. But it just, as far as like what the genre is of this book, as it being labeled as romance, did I find it romantic? No, especially at the end. Fallon got on my freaking nerves, and she really just, she was a pick-me. Like, nothing about their characters was romantic. It was simply him just being a perv, just wanting to see what kind of underwear she was wearing, and then her being so insecure that she allowed the first guy who ever gave her a compliment to be like her first love or her true love, some crap like that, when it really wasn't love. It was just, she is really insecure, and he knew about her insecurities and jumped on it, and she allowed it. And I mean, it was just a lot going on. And so, did it keep me entertained? Yes, all the way through. But as far as it being a genre of romance, I don't find it romantic, and it was just quite annoying, especially at the end. Like, I think I would have gave this a higher rating if at the end what happened didn't happen. I'm also going to try to not do a lot of spoilers, but then again, this is an old book, so you guys probably have already read this book. I don't know, but yeah, it would have been, since this is an old book, I feel like a lot of people have read it, so I'm gonna go ahead and say my little spill on this one. It would have been better if Fallon never showed up and really like grew, because she always talked about how like because of Ben, he had taught her so many things about like loving herself and all this, all that, and growing and stuff like that. I kind of felt like if she had truly grown, she would have never showed up at that restaurant, especially with a matching tattoo of like same type of meanings and stuff like that. Like if she had popped up, or she hadn't popped up at that restaurant, that would have been a lot better. And so that would have probably I would have gave it a whole lot of a better rating. But since that wasn't the case, she actually showed up, and then she has the audacity to be like, I should apologize to you because I'm the one that was in wrong. I was like, girl, I'm done. I'm done. I'm not about to sit here and listen to this. So yeah, this is the first book that's coming in this January wrap up, and it's coming in at 2 stars, and that is none other than November 9. I see how quick that focus is, man. My G7X was playing with me, y'all. But again, that's coming in at 2 stars. Alrighty, so this is another one that I'm just going to have to put the picture up right over here because I read this on my Kindle. It is none other than Mr. President. And I should have wrote the author's name down. I think Kathy, I think it was Kathy something, Mr. President. I gave this 3 stars. This is about the characters of Charlotte and Matthew. I hope that's their character's name, because one thing I noticed when I was trying to write my write the names out of the characters, I read this a whole long time ago. Mr. President, I read this like earlier on in the month, so I kind of forgot like the character's name, so I had to look it up on Amazon. And why she don't have the girl's name in like the description of the story, I don't know. It was really annoying. I was like, I want, because it's a duel. It has the first, I read the first book, and then it's another book called Commander in Chief or something like that. I don't know. And so I haven't read the second book, but I did read the first, and I was just looking at both of the book summaries trying to figure out what was the character's name, and I could not find her name for the life of me. So hopefully it is Charlotte. But anyways, basically it's about this girl who, her family is already in like, you know, the political, you know, environment. I believe her dad is a governor or something like that. So she's pretty much used to that environment. And so because he was a governor, he had, when we first get introduced to Charlotte meeting Matt, first of all, let me say this. I did not know that this story was an age gap. I did not know that. I honestly was under the impression that I knew that Matthew was a little bit older than her, but I did not know that he was that much older than her. So when I found that out later on in the story, I was like, this is kind of interesting. Simply because she met him when she was younger, like when she was like a little girl. And so I think it's I don't know if it's like a double-digit age gap. Again, I read this a long time ago in the month, so I can't really remember. But if I'm not mistaken, like she was like a little girl, he was like 20 or something like that. So I'm like, interesting. That's a very interesting concept, because I was under the impression when they first met, because they first met at her father is having a dinner with the president. Matthew's father is the president, so they're having this dinner. And so originally she was not allowed to come, but then she ended up begging her mom because she come. So then the mom was like, okay. So they getting prepared, and she gets dressed, and the next thing you know, the president comes. You know, they gotta have like 10,000-15,000 security guards around him. And so they come to his house for dinner, and so the president, Matthew's father, brings Matthew along with him. And so they are, you know, sitting eating dinner, and you know when you already know you're reading a romance story, and you already know you're reading about characters that are eventually going to like fall in love, so you're already kind of shipping them. You're already kind of like putting them together, and that's how I do. I ain't gonna cap. Like if I know that a story is like a romance story, I'm kind of already trying to find little things in the story to make them look like really, really cute, and like, that's so cute. I was already doing that, not realizing that it was an age gap, mind you. I did not realize that. I just simply was like, oh, they're stinking cute. Okay? Again, he was like 20 and she was like a little girl. Listen, I didn't know. I didn't get it. It didn't connect to me until later on in the chapters in the book past that point. But they was sitting eating dinner, and she ate her food really fast, and so she wanted seconds. But then of course her father gave her like the stank eye, because I mean, you are sitting in front of the president, so you can't like act like that, or whatever case may be. But then Matthew speaks up and said he would like seconds too. Now again, why it didn't click in my head at that point that why would this little boy be so articulate into saying he wants seconds too? Like, again, me already shipping them, I'm thinking, oh, that's so cute, he's setting up for her, like, because she wants seconds. So he's like, he wants seconds too, so of course, you know, you're not going to really say anything about it to him, simply because one, he's a boy, and two, he is the president's son. But I didn't connect the two. I didn't connect it, I'm sorry. But now, when I thought about it, I was like, hold up, this is an age gap story. Like, they got some years apart. But I wouldn't necessarily say it was like that weird as to like they knew each other like best friends or something like that. They simply just had that one dinner, and then, you know, the president he continually keeps saying that Matthew's going to be president too, and Matthew always keeps saying no, I'm not. But yeah, that's pretty much it as far as the beginning. And then you go fast forward into her being an adult, and she works like in this women's center that helps women who are, I think, been abused in situations like that. So she works there with her mom, I believe. Yes. But yeah, and then also after the dinner happened, she ends up writing the president and the president's son a letter saying, well, basically writing a letter to Matthew stating that if he ever run for president, because again, his father continuously kept saying that he was going to be president and Matthew kept saying no, that if Matthew did run for president, she would be on his staff. Okay, that's what she said as a little girl, blase blase. Now let's fast forward. We end up later on finding out that Matthew's father had been assassinated, and for some reason, again, he said so many times he was not going to run for president. He ends up running for president. And now, because again, her family is still in that light of like governor and like in the political field, so when that comes out, because so many people love Matthew's father as president, I believe he was for the Democratic Party. They just loved the family. They just loved him as president. And they just loved Matthew as well. So when they heard that he was running for president, it was just like, oh, hell, Matthew's running for president. And everybody was just so excited. And so somehow, well, not really somehow, because again, her family is in the political party, or in the political environment. They end up going to, like, I guess his, I don't know what you would call it, but I guess he had like this type of party where they were talking about, well, he was introducing himself and giving people handshakes and, like, I guess getting sponsors. Well, girl, I don't know, okay? All I know is he was running for president. She went to the event with her mom. He saw her across the room. She saw him across the room. They were looking at each other like, And so he was like, oh yeah, I still remember that letter you wrote me about if I was running for president, you would be on my staff. What's up? Like, blase blase. And then, you know, you go from there. It's supposed to be like a forbidden romance, because again, he's the president, he's single, and he is actually running for the independent party, because he doesn't want to run for the Democratic Party because of what happened to his dad, and he's not running for the Republican Party. So it's like, it would be like a big thing for him to win, especially him to win in the independent party, because the independent party usually never wins and stuff like that. So, and then you got their little sneaking around, because it's supposed to be forbidden, and you know, all that stuff. So yeah, that's pretty much what the Mr. President was. I gave it 3 stars simply because I kind of wish that we got a dual point of view. I wish we had gotten a lot of Matthew's point of view. I think she gave us like a little bit. Was it even? It wasn't a lot. It wasn't a lot to me, because I feel like we were constantly in Charlotte's point of view, and she just constantly just kept, I don't know, boasting about him to the point that it got extremely annoying. Like, I get it, girl. You fine, he's sweet, he all that in the bag of chips with a soda on the side. I get it, but please, I don't want to hear no. I'm tired. Can you give me anything else other than that? And that was literally the whole entire book. And I just felt like if she had gave us like a dual point of view with a lot more of Matthew talking, we wouldn't really have to have dealt with that. It would have been a lot more, not just her talking. Okay, I got annoyed of her just talking. So That's why I had to end up giving it 3 stars. I'm still debating if I'm gonna read the second book. I don't know. I might, cause I mean, it was a little spicy. I ain't gonna care, it was a little spicy. And then you know you got the forbidden romance aspect, and then you got him being a president and or running for president, and you know I might check it out. I don't know. Don't quote me on it. But yeah, Mr. President coming in at 3 stars. Alrighty, so the next book that I have is gonna be none other than The Rise of the Phoenix by Miss Moggy. This is the second book in her 3-book series. The characters are Kiara, Alexander, and Leo. Again, I read the other 2 in December, I believe. I showed you guys those books in December wrap up, so I mean it's not too much to say without spoiling. If you haven't read the first one, then you kind of don't want to hear me talk about the third one, but I gave it 3.75 stars. Excuse me, because I don't know. Well, excuse me, I kept saying the other 2. This is the second book, because there's 3 books in the series. This is the second book. I read the first book in December. I did not even read the last book. I actually DNF'd that book twice. I just couldn't finish the series. It just wasn't hitting like I wanted it to hit. But yeah, I mean, it was okay. I liked it, the side characters, a little bit more than the main characters. Or let me say this, Kiara just wasn't my favorite like protagonist in Miss Moggy's writing. I've read other books of hers where I love the leading girl, I love the leading lady, I love her so much. Kiara, she simply just was not that girl for me. So yeah. So I gave it 3.75. Alright, the next book I actually have the physical book, because those 2 books that I mentioned were on my Kindle. I have Hard Love by Miss Peyton Banks. Let me show y'all. Bam. Y'all, I cannot get over the instant, like, I love it. This is, the 2 characters are Rainer and Jada. Rainer here is a basketball player, and he plays, who do he play for? The Knight? No, I don't know. Again, I read this like earlier in January, but basically it's a very short book. It's about 100, is it 100 pages? 194 pages. It's a very short book about Rainer and Jada. Rainer is a quarterback. He is like the top quarterback of his team, and Jada, he ends up running into her because it's raining and he just came from practice, and he sees a lady in a car stuck on the side of a road. So him being the southern guy he is, he's like, his father would beat him if he just drove past a woman who's in the rain with her car messed up. So he pulls over and helps her with her car, and then he sees Jada and he's like, oh, she looking good. And then, you know, Jada looking at him like, he looking good. And it basically stems from that. Also, they meet that first time, and he actually stays with her until AAA comes to help her with her car. And so we get dual point of view in this, and also we find out that, you know, Jada never gave him her number and vice versa. So she kind of really regrets that she never got his number, because mind you, Jada is not like, she doesn't know anything about football. So she doesn't know anything about him as far as like being like the #1 quarterback, anything like that. She just sees him as a fine guy. So she doesn't know he's a football player. But that happens. He stays with her. They never exchange phone numbers or anything like that. So she kind of regrets it. She has a best friend, forgot her name, where she was like, oh, let's go to this like this event, because her friend is a really big football fanatic. She loves football, so she knows everything about football. So of course she would know who Rainer is, even though Jada doesn't. But anyway, she was like, let's go to like this football banquet where basically you can like bid on football players to like go on dates with them or something like that, and they give the money to like what is I'm trying, like a fundraiser, if you will. Like, you know how you bid on certain things and then they give them money to charity? That's pretty much what it was for that football team in the state they lived in. So that's pretty much how they ended up meeting back again. Rude. Anyway, that's how they ended up meeting back up again, because her friend wants to go to this banquet, and so they end up going. And Rainer, he never really goes to these type of things because he just finds it really creepy, and the women kind of act really creepy. And so yeah, but then his friends, he has 2 best friends on the football team who was trying to like you know, get him to go to the actual banquet and be a part of it, to where people can like bid on him, or women can bid on him so that, you know, they can go on a date with him. So he's like, fine, I'll go. And they also tell him a trick about how he really just needs to like find someone, like find like a girl that's like a friend, so that she can do the bidding, but really in the end he's the one paying, so that he doesn't have to worry about going on any weird dates with any weird women. So that's what his friends tell him to do, because that's what they do. They have like women who they have to bid on them, so that they don't have to go on no creepy dates with nobody. So he was like, okay, fine, but who do I get? And they was like, you can't get your mom, you can't get your sister. Like they obviously know that's your mom or your sister, so you gotta get somebody else. So I was like, okay, he gotta find someone. It gets to the time of the banquet and he still has not found anyone to be like, any woman to be a bidding that he knows like to bid on him. So he's there. Next thing you know, he sees Jada again, and of course Jada came with her best friend. So when he sees her, he's like, bet. He then goes up to Jada and asks her to do his bidding, and long story short, she does his bidding. She ends up winning. They go on a date, and it goes from there. So that's pretty much the intro of the book. And I gave it 3.75 simply because, again, it's short, simple, and sweet. It was cute. It was just a cute little quick read. Nothing too heavy. I mean, would I prefer it to be a little bit longer, have a little bit more build up? Yes. But it wasn't a bad read. It was just very quick and done with. But yeah, again, Hard Love by Peyton Banks. It was a 3.75 for me. Okay, next book that I have is going to be no other than Orbiting Jupiter by Gary D. Schmidt. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that name right. Orbiting Jupiter. I'm not going to get over that. I'm like never going to get over how quick that goes back to my face. But anyways, Orbiting Jupiter is about this boy named Joseph and Jack. Joseph is a boy who was sent to like a, I guess you could say like a remedial school for his behavior, because he ended up trying to kill one of his teachers at his school. We ended up finding out that he was given something from another boy in the bathroom to help him, like some type of pill, because he was kind of going a little for Cocoa Puffs already. And then the teacher went in to try to find where the little boy went, told him to come out the stall, and he just kept continuously screaming at her till he eventually came out and then tried to kill her. So then he basically had to get sent into a remedial school somewhere set in Stone Mountain. And so they already look at him as like he's bad and all that stuff, but they don't really know his true story. They don't know Joseph's story and what he's been through. And it's really, really sad, because he does come from an abusive father household. Like his father is trash. Not only that, but we find out that Joseph has a daughter named Jupiter. Now mind you, Joseph is like 14. He's a young boy, so he already has a daughter named Jupiter, and it's just crazy. And he ends up getting like adopted. Well, he has new foster parents, and so his foster parents have a son named Jack. And so I believe Joseph is a year like older than Jack, and so they go to the same school, but you know, they're not in the really same classes like that, if I'm not mistaken. Again, I read this earlier as well, so my mind is just kind of like, this. But it really is a heartwarming story. I was expecting to cry reading this. I didn't cry. I just didn't. I was under the impression that I was gonna, you know, get teary-eyed or something. I don't think I did. I did smile. I was happy. I'm not saying I wasn't like, I didn't enjoy it, but I was expecting. When people say, oh my god, I cried so much, I just couldn't put it down, and it was just so sad. I'm expecting that. And then I read it, and then I didn't get that experience. But it still was a beautiful story about Joseph and him basically trying to find Jupiter, which is his daughter. It says Orbiting Jupiter. He's trying to find her. You find out his story about, you know, his father. You find out the story between Joseph and the girlfriend, who is Jupiter's mom, and what happens to her, and like how he even got sent to Stone Mountain, and how he ended up getting into the foster care, and just his whole life story, and he's only 14, and so much happened in those 14 years, and it is sad. It just didn't make me cry, but it still was a good story, and I definitely suggest if you want something like a little small read that'll make you feel something, because again, this was like 170 something pages. Yeah, like 100 and I don't know, it's like 183 pages. It's very short. You need something quick to read and it'll make you feel something. I definitely suggest this book, but again, I gave this book about 3.75 stars, and this is Orbiting Jupiter. Sorry, y'all. So yeah, alrighty, let me see what else I got. Alright, so now we're heading into the 4 stars. So what's coming in at 4 stars again is, I have to put the picture right here. Oh, sorry y'all, I gotta put the picture right here on the side. It's going to be none other than Evidence of the Affair by Taylor Jenkins Reid. Okay, I read this as a quick story simply because I started this reading challenge, so I needed something quick to read, and I needed to, you know, add some more books to January, you know, and it was about like 80 pages, so it's a real short book. You can only read this on a Kindle though. Like, that's the thing. Like, I had no choice but to read it on Kindle. You can't like buy the physical copy of it. So unless you have like an actual Kindle, or you just have the Kindle app, that is the only place where you can read that book, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, it's about 80 pages. It's about the story of the characters Carrie and David. I forgot David's wife's name and Carrie's husband's name, so we're just gonna say Carrie's husband and David's wife, because I don't remember their names. But basically, we have Carrie. We basically read this entire story within letters. Like, it's letters of Carrie writing to David, and then David writing back. That's it. We only read this in like letter format. That's it. And so the first chapter, or the first, yeah, because the chapters are actually very small. Again, it's only 80 pages. The first page is gonna be Carrie's letter to David saying, "Hello, David. I ended up finding some letters in my husband's suitcase written from," I think, was it to, or no, it was from, I believe. Yeah, it was from. David's wife had been sending Carrie's husband letters, and so she read them, and she decided to go ahead and write letters to David saying, "Hello, I got some letters from your wife. I found some letters from your wife in my husband's suitcase, and I'm under the impression that they are having an affair together, blase blase." And then we end up going to the next chapter of Carrie writing another letter to him again, because he didn't respond from that letter. And then she was trying to like apologize, like, "I'm sorry if this is like very uncomfortable, if I'm like, you know, messing up some stuff, I'm extremely sorry, blase blase." He then eventually writes back to her and says, "No, it's nothing on your end. I just first didn't believe you. I just felt like there are so many women with my wife's name." Again, I don't remember her name. "So many women with my wife's name that I didn't think anything of it, or think that it was like true, until he found some evidence." Well, basically by her behavior. Like, anytime she had to take a call, she would leave the room. So one time he went to go follow her to like see who she was talking to, and how she was in a whisper tone, and how she basically said Carrie's husband name, and Carrie wrote her husband's name down in the letter. Again, I don't remember. So yeah, it's pretty much that, where they go back and forth trying to console each other and talk to each other about the fact, like, wow, their significant others are cheating on them, and like how they're even like, it's just crazy. Like, this isn't no past tense affair. Like, they currently cheating on them at the time they're writing those letters. Like, wow, they're lying to their significant others, telling them that they're going this place. Like, Carrie and David are exchanging these letters, talking to each other about how, "Oh, my husband said he's going here," and then David saying, "My wife saying she's going here," but we see in the letter that they're obviously going to meet up. It's just like, wow, they are so dirty. They are so dirty. And to be honest with you, I really don't like the infidelity trope. I especially don't like it when the person who's getting cheated on stays. Like, I don't like that, and I did not like the ending. Well, the ending was like, whoa. I kind of caught on to the ending a little bit. I was like, did they? You know, because when the ending came, because in the ending we get it from Carrie's letter writing to David, because something happens. I'm not trying to spoil it. Again, it is a really good story. I think you guys should check it out, even though you can only read it on Kindle. But I'm just saying, baby, it was really good. It really was. I ain't gonna cap. I enjoyed it. Hold on one second, y'all. Let me take a sip. I enjoyed it. I did. I just didn't like David's wife or Carrie's husband. I especially did not like Carrie's husband. He was pure trash. He was so full of shit. Carrie deserved better. And I also really liked how in Taylor Jenkins Reid's books, she always kind of like mentions a little bit about other characters in her other books. Like in this book, she mentioned Daisy Jones, and how like I think was something coming out from her, like a music, some type of music related thing was coming out from Daisy Jones, and she mentioned that in the little books. I was like, I like that. And a part of me was kind of confused as to like, I know this wasn't Carrie Subtle because her name's Carrie, and you know she has another book called Carrie Subtle is Back. So I was like, I was trying to figure out, was there anything connected to why this girl name was Carrie and she has another book named Carrie and they're spelled the same way. I don't know. Don't really know. But I was like, I really enjoyed the fact that she mentioned another book that I read of hers and the characters in this book. But yeah. So again, that is Evidence of the Affair by Taylor Jenkins Reid, and that is coming in at 4 stars. So alrighty, the next book that I have for you guys is going to be a first book of manga. It's not the only book of manga on this list, but it's just going to be the first one that you guys have heard me mention, and that is going to be Cheeky Brat Volume 1 by Mitsubaki Miyuki. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that right. Okay, you got Cheeky Brat. It is so stinking cute, okay? The characters are Yuki and Naruse. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing their name right. But you basically have Yuki, who is the manager of the basketball team. She only becomes the, I'm sorry if you see the reflection and stuff, but she only becomes the basketball team's manager because she likes the captain of the basketball team, and so she basically just becomes the manager so she could be close to him. But then she ends up finding out that the the captain of the basketball team has a girlfriend, and so she's obviously heartbroken because she's like, I was the manager of this team simply to be close to him, and because I really liked him, but he has a girlfriend. Now you have Naruse, who is a year under her. He is also on the basketball team. Well, I think he just got on the basketball team because, again, he is a year under her. And so she calls him this cheeky brat because first he ends up finding her crying about the whole situation with the basketball coach. And so he's like, why are you crying? And then she's like, I'm not crying or nothing like that. And so he kind of like basically knows that she's crying about the boy having a girlfriend. And so you have this like little playful back and forth between the two. If you read it, it's really kind of giving the trope of grumpy sunshine. But the thing is with me is I don't even feel like Naruse is really a sunshine. I think Yuki is just such a grump that it makes Naruse look like sunshine. Because really, he's like, he's not sunshine. He's like, oh, happy day. He's not like that, but she's just such a grumpy person. And she just like, I wouldn't even say grumpy. She's just like straightforward and like, she gives you military vibes. Like, you feel me? Like, she just top-notch manager of basketball. Everything gotta be in order. Blase, blase. She cleans all the basketballs, makes sure everything's in order. Top-notch security, okay? And so he kind of just gives off this like laid-back personality. I think that's the better saying for the trope. She's very like strict on rules, and he's just probably like the laid-back cool kid. So that's what I would say as far as like the trope goes for the two. But it's really cute. It's really adorable. I actually have the other two. You guys will have saw me unbox one of the books in my manga unboxing, which you guys would have already saw as well. I unboxed volume 3, and I did just get volume 2, so I have 2 and 3 to read up more of these two characters. I love them so much. They're so stinking cute. And look at the bag, y'all. Look at this. So y'all see that? That is so stinking cute. That is so stinking cute. I can't help it. It's so stinking cute. But yeah, again, coming in at 4 stars, it's going to be Cheeky Brat Volume 1 by Mitsubachi Miyuki. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that right, y'all. I'm so sorry. Do not butcher me if I pronounce any of like my manga books authors terribly wrong. I'm so sorry. But yeah. So coming in next, again, another 4 stars is going to be none other than The Worst Best Man by Mia Sosa. Okay, that is coming in at 4 stars. We have the characters Carolina, Max, and Andrew. This is basically a situation where Carolina ends up getting dumped on her wedding day by Andrew. Andrew and Max are brothers, and so Andrew doesn't even have the balls to step to Carolina and tell her that he does not want to get married to her. So instead of just being a man and manning up about it, he ends up telling Max. He don't even tell Max, actually. He texts Max saying, hey, can you tell Carolina I can't do this. I'm gone. I'm out of here. Peace. Pretty much is what he says. So Max has to basically tell the news. Well, okay. I'm going a little too fast. He did basically say, peace, adios, amigos. But he also stated something along the lines of, Max, yeah, you were right. I'm not ready for this. And then tell her I ain't coming. Peace, adios, amigos. So basically he added that part of saying that Max must have told him something at the bachelor party before the wedding that told him something to where Andrew was like, yeah, maybe this ain't it. Maybe I don't need to get married. And then he left it up to Max to tell Carolina that he was not coming to the wedding and he left and he can't marry her. So then, you know, Max basically tells Carolina what happens, and she is just like she doesn't show any reaction to it, but we know that she is like heartbroken and also pissed and all that stuff. And then she basically asks Max to give her his phone so she can see exactly what he texts to Max. And so when he gave her his phone, Carolina read the text and saw the part to when Andrew basically says, Max, you were right, blase blase. And so she automatically has beef with not only Andrew but Max, because she feels like Max had a part in why she wasn't getting married to Andrew. So here's my thing with that whole situation. Why I don't like that is because at the end of the day, if you know you want to marry somebody, if you know you want to be with somebody, ain't nothing somebody can really say to really finesse you and make you not want to be with them. That's just how I feel. I don't care how drunk you are. I don't care nothing. There is nothing somebody can do to make you not want to marry someone. It's nothing somebody can say to make you not want to marry someone if you truly, genuinely want to marry them. So it really annoyed me how she was coming at Max, because at the end of the day, if it took for Max to say a couple of words and then Andrew be like, okay, I don't want to do this, maybe he wasn't the guy for you in the first place. But then again, when you read the story, you kind of realize why Carolina even went to marry Andrew in the first place. So it kind of makes sense why she's so angry at Max, even though we logically know, like I said, if you really wanted to be with somebody, nobody could say anything to you about anything as far as you marrying them. Like, if you want to marry someone, if you love someone that much to marry them, nobody can say anything to like discourage you of doing that. But yeah, you have that whole situation go down. Then some years pass, and then we find out that Carolina is like a wedding planner, and so she's currently at the years later when we are in Carolina's chapter, she is actually like doing a whole entire wedding right then and there. Like, she's planning it, making sure everything's running smoothly, and she ends up running to a lady who is, I believe, the cousin of the bride, and she's basically like talking to her about like, how do you like being a wedding planner? Or the lady is talking to Carolina, asking her how she likes being a wedding planner and how does she, you know, her like, you know, tips and tricks or whatever the case may be. And Carolina's thinking that, oh, maybe this is somebody who wants to be a wedding planner too. But no, she ends up finding out that it's a lady who works at a hotel, a very famous hotel, who is looking for people to like be staffs for certain things at the hotel. And Carolina's role would basically be like being the wedding planner at the hotel. So anybody who wants to get married at the hotel, like, she would be the official wedding planner at that hotel. And so you know, of course Carolina is ecstatic about that and all that. So then she's like, okay, well, come in at this time at my office so we can have an interview, and you can also meet the marketing people that I have planned on partnering with I can't speak, y'all. Partnering with. And so she's like, okay, of course I'll come. Next thing you know, when she shows up, she sees Andrew and Max. Andrew and Max work for a marketing company. They work for their mother's marketing company, if I'm not mistaken, or she's just like the CEO. They both work there. They both have like, they both be competing with each other like that. So it's like, but yeah, they work at the marketing company together, and so they both got called in for that same lady who was talking to Carolina at the wedding. At that wedding, they both get called in to be like marketing and try to you know, see how they could fit in with that hotel. And so the whole basis of it is that it's going to be 2 wedding planners and 2 marketing people. And so the marketing people collab with the wedding planner to like have this whole, like, they have to create this whole like presentation to basically try to get the job. So it's Carolina against this other wedding planner dude, and the 2 marketing people are Andrew and Max. And so when the lady walks in with Andrew and Max, Carolina basically just freezes and pretends like she doesn't even know who they are, and so they follow along with her. So basically to the lady, these are new people. They don't know each other, but of course to them, they know each other. And Andrew is over here sweating bullets because, again, this is the fiance that you left at the wedding and you didn't have balls to even talk to. And then this is Max, who is like the dude who's pretty much stuck in the middle. But basically, long story short, Max ends up being the marketing person with Carolina, while Andrew ends up being the marketing person for the other wedding planner. And so it's basically Carolina and Max, you know, trying to like be cordial and, you know, just do business. But baby, I know some stuff pops off. Some stuff pops off, let's just say that. And that's just the first couple of chapters I told y'all about. But basically, yeah, long story short, you know, it's a little romance situation with Carolina and Max, and it's just, I liked it. It was some parts that I was really annoyed with Carolina, but I liked how she kind of recovered from those situations and admitted when she was wrong. And so yeah, I really enjoyed this book. Again, it's The Worst Best Man by Mia Sosa. I gave this 4 stars. Alrighty, so the next book that I have that I ended up getting 4.5 stars. I don't have the physical copy. I ended up having it on Kindle Unlimited. This is also a book that I had to read for school. Mind you, I don't think I've ever actually like finished an entire book that I had to read for school. I ain't gonna cap. I ain't never did that. I only read a couple of pages or a couple of chapters to the point that I understood like what I needed to understand to fill out the prompt of my papers. But baby, I read the entirety of this book, and I am not only proud of myself, the book was actually really good, and I'm shook. And I also believe it wasn't nonfiction, so that's why I enjoyed it as well. But as you guys probably see from this video, it is none other than All the Ugly and Wonderful Things by Bryn Greenwood. And if you're wondering why I'm looking to the left, I'm trying to, I have my tablet right here to look at the names of all my books I have right here. Yes, if you guys read that book, then you know, let me tell y'all before y'all even decide to check it out yourself, trigger warnings, okay? Trigger warning being the adultification of children, drugs, drug use by around children, and I would definitely say pedophilia. Trigger warnings. This is crazy. This book is crazy. I would have never read this book on my own if it wasn't for the fact that I had to read it, because I had taken a sociology of youth class. So it talks about youth and children and stuff like that. And basically the prompt for this story that I had to write was about the definition of youth and how is youth presented in this book, because baby, it is crazy. You have the characters of Wavy, Keelan, Val, which is Wavy's mother. You have her dad, which I do not remember his name, so I just put her dad. You have Donald, which is Wavy's brother, and then you have Brenda, Aunt Brenda, which is Wavy's aunt. And yeah, it's a story about a little girl named Wavy and how like she pretty much grew up in this terrible situation where she really could not experience her youth, and how her youth was really stolen from her a whole lot. Like she wasn't able to be a normal kid because of the situation her parents brought her in. Val, first of all, was in jail. So the first chapter, I like how in the book we get a lot of point of views, mind you. We get the point of view of Wavy's cousin, her teachers, her teachers, from her herself, and from Keelan. Keelan is a very older man who works with Wavy's dad in his drug business in a way. Like, well, he's actually really a mechanic, but he also does some side stuff for Wavy's dad, because Wavy's dad is like a meth distributor. He basically does drugs. Well, he does them and he deals them. He deals meth, and he has his whole entire business and so forth. And then you have Val, who is Wavy's mother, who is pretty much a crackhead. She do the drugs too. But when we first get introduced to Val, she's already in jail. She's in jail pregnant with Donald, who is Wavy's brother. Yes. And Wavy is just, oh, excuse me. Also, again, like I said, we get the cousins and Wavy and all those point of views. We also got a little point of view of her grandma. I forgot to mention, but something happens to the grandma, so we no longer get her point of view anyway. But we just get so many point of views of Wavy's life, and then when we get Wavy's life from her point of view, and just Keelan, who again is this guy who works with her dad, and it's some romance brews from in this story. But again, like I said, trigger warning, pedophilia. Like, it is, it just is what it is. Even though I did give it 4.5 stars, and I'm not gonna cap, it got to a point that at the end of the book I was rooting for Wavy and Keelan, but it was during the book it got a little crazy. I ain't gonna cap. When I say at the end, I'm talking about the very end when she was like of legal age, because it just, I just don't know how to describe this book. It made you think. I cried a little bit. I ain't gonna cap. I got teary-eyed. I really did enjoy it. It is very much trigger warning, so if you guys want to read this yourself, you can. It's only like $8 if you buy the physical copy, and it's on Kindle Unlimited, so it's free $99 if you got Kindle Unlimited. But I definitely suggest you guys should check it out and read it for yourself. If you're not, if you don't mind reading something that's a little dark, because it's a little dark. It gets a little dark in that book, but if that's not for you, then definitely do not check it out. Because again, trigger warning, adultification of children, drugs, drug usage, and then pedophilia. It's there. So, and it is explicit as well. So, yeah. It might not be for everybody. So if it ain't for you, please don't even try it. But if you don't mind those type of things, or just trying to read it to try to get an understanding of what I'm trying to say, because I really can't explain it to y'all, because boom, it was a lot going on. But anyway, yes, that is All the Ugly and Wonderful Things by Bryn Greenwood. And again, I gave that 4.5 stars. Alright, you guys, we have now made it to my 5-star reads. I only got about 3, but it's okay. So we're gonna go ahead and start. But none other than Carrie Subtle is Back by Taylor Jenkins Reads. Y'all, look at this. Look. Y'all know this had to be 5 stars. Okay, 5-star read. I highly recommend you guys read this book. You have the characters of Carrie Subtle, Bowie Huntley, Nikki Chan, and Javier Soto. Basically, we have Carrie here, who is basically coming out of retirement so she can defend her title of having the most Grand Slams ever. She's defending her title against Nikki Chan, who is a younger girl who has just came on the surface. At this point, Carrie is already retired, and Nikki is now approaching. No. Because when we first get introduced to them, Carrie and her father are sitting in the bleachers. I said bleachers. I'm thinking of basketball, but yeah, they're sitting out where the tennis court's at, and Nikki is already playing. And so Nikki wins that match to where she's basically tied with Carrie as far as her title. And so, of course, Carrie wants to come back out of retirement so she can, like, win the next, match or the Grand Slam, so that she can, like, continue her title as being, like, the #1 person with the most Grand Slams. And so, of course, she's, like, older. She's older now, okay? Her bones and her movement ain't as, it ain't all there. So, she's got to get back in shape, and she's, trying to find hitters, and that's hard for her because, again, when she was playing tennis, she was kind of a bitch, no, now nobody really wants to be a hitter now. The people who was in her, during her years of playing tennis, nobody would want to mess with her now because she was a bitch. So, I'm just saying, that's how they interpret it, okay? I'm not calling her a bitch, but I'm just saying. And so, you have that whole story of her trying. At first you get the flashback of her being a little girl and how she got into tennis. Then you get, information as far as her current state, her being older, trying to get back in shape and trying to, get back into the groove of playing tennis. And then you have this new character who is Bowie Huntley, who is a tennis player as well, who basically played when she was playing younger as well, and how he's still basically in, the league. He didn't retire like she did. And how he's still trying to, he just won't give up because he wants that, that feeling of playing tennis because he loves it so much. And so how he's trying to, go out with a bang. And so basically, this is the only person she could find who can be a hitter with her, Bowie Huntley, which is also somebody she had like a situationship with back in the day, but it didn't go any farther from that. And then you kind of have that romance kind of brewing because, again, Carrie is a hard ass. Like, she's all about perfection, playing tennis, nothing else. Like, she just don't got no kids, no husband. She ain't want none of that. She just wanted to be the best tennis player in the world. That's all she wants. That's all she cares about. So she ain't trying to do that romance crap. But you have Bowie, who's kind of like the softie, if you say. So he's trying to get it there. And then you have the relationship with Carrie and Javier, which is her father, who is her tennis coach, and all of that just going on. And it's just a really beautiful story, and it's so good. And I cried a good 3 times, like ugly crying, like tears, snot bubbles, ugly cry 3 times. 5 stars. Again, Carrie Subtle is back by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I definitely highly suggest you guys read this book. Now let me say this before I get off this book. I don't know a lot about tennis. So if you know a lot about tennis and some things might be wrong that she interprets with this, because there is a lot of things about in the book that she talks about is tennis. Like, it's a tennis book. I don't get, I've listened and read some people who have given this book like low rating star ratings and stuff, and how they are not into it because books about tennis. And I'm confusion because I'm like, how could you be mad at a book when the synopsis literally reads her getting out of retirement so she can defend her title of being the like #1 tennis player in the world? Why are y'all confused of why this book is all about tennis? I don't get it how y'all didn't get it was going to be about tennis. They was like, it's just so much tennis talk. I'm just like, yeah, why didn't you think it was going to be about that? I don't know. But anyways, again, I don't know a lot about tennis, but if you do and you say something like obviously wrong with it, then I can understand why you could give this a lower rating. But me, being a noob to tennis and know nothing about it, I loved it and I thought it was really good. So I gave it 5 stars. So yeah. Alrighty. Next book that I have for you guys is going to be the first volume of the Heartstopper series by Alice Oseman. Here you go. Look at it, y'all. Isn't it beautiful? Yes, I've only read the first volume. Yes, I plan on reading the other volumes. Yes, I plan on reading them on a reading blog. Yes, I will be reading this over in that reading blog because I don't care. It's so good. It's about the characters of Nick and Charlie. This is Nick. This is Nick. This is Charlie. And I love them so much. That cliffhanger on the first volume, though, you ain't have to do us like that, Miss Alice. But I really love the story. It's about Charlie, who's already out to everyone that he is gay, and then you have Nick here, who everyone, or well, I could say Charlie's best friend assumes that Nick is gay. I mean, no, that Nick is straight. He's not gay, so you really shouldn't be trying to get a crush on him or nothing like that because it's just not going to happen. But basically, they end up doing a friendship because they ended up having to sit next to each other because their school created this new thing where different class levels had to like be in the group. So they ended up sitting next to each other at their desk, and so they ended up having like little conversations here and there, but nothing too serious. And then Nick sees Charlie running on the track and thinks, I should ask him to join our team, our sports team. I forgot what the sport was because he could run really fast. And so they basically, bond over that because Charlie's like, I'm not really good at sports and nothing like that. But like, Nick is like, it's okay, I'll teach you and everything like that. And so you got that going on. And then an accident happens with Charlie and a guy that he was like kissing up on. at one point at the very beginning you catch them actually like kissing up on each other in the library, and how Charlie is just not into it anymore. He's like, I have to go. And then the dude, I think his name was Ben. Was it Ben? Was it Ben? It was Ben. Ben was like, but it's only the first bell, the first bell rung, and he was like, yeah, I have to go. So yeah, this whole situation ends up happening again, but this time Ben gets really aggressive towards Charlie, because he's like, why did you like leave me there, and why are you like ignoring me and all that stuff. And so basically Nick comes to Charlie's rescue to push Ben away and tell him to leave him alone. And so, you know, Ben walks away, and so, you know, Charlie's obviously embarrassed, but he's also very like, you know, he helped me, he saved me from Ben, because Ben was doing a little too much. He was doing a little too much grabbing, you feel me? But yeah, it's just like their story as friends, and then, you know, understanding like sexuality and stuff like that. And it sounds really adorable. It sounds really, really cute. One thing I will give a strike on is how the first book looks completely different than the other three. Like, I feel like you have to buy the whole entire bundle, like the book box, for it to all come in the same size and stuff, because baby, this one is longer than those other ones, and I'm kind of mad, because I did end up buying 2, 3, and 4 in like individual. Like, I didn't buy them in the box, because I had already bought the first one first, and I decided, let me just go get the other 3, because I might really like this and I want to just binge read it. So I bought these all in one pack, like one in on transit, what am I trying to say? I bought all of these in one order, and I bought this in a separate order. I bought this one before, and then like the next day I bought these 3 in the same order. I'm using them as I put my tripod on top of them so they can be leveled up. But basically that's pretty much the only complaint I have as far as the series go, but not the actual story, because the story is cute, the art is cute, and 10 out of 10 would recommend. So yeah, again, Heartstopper Volume 1 by Alice Oseman. I gave it 5 stars. Alrighty, you guys, and last but not least, my last 5-star in this review, my wrap-up, January wrap-up, is going to be none other than I Want to Eat Your Pancreas by Yoru Samino. Isn't that cover adorable? Isn't that cover adorable? Like, oh my god. It's basically about the characters Yamachi, Shakira, and Boy. I said Boy because we never know what his name is. Like, we never know his name until like the very ending of the book, but we always know like her name's Shakira, her last name. I'm still trying to understand like Asian culture as to like how they talk to each other, because I've noticed like a lot of times they'll introduce or talk to each other by stating their last name. Like, they'll address each other by last name instead of first name. I think you have to be really close to one another in order to address them by first name, and then they still add like another word after the first name. Like, it could be like Yamachi-san, or I've seen like Shakira Sensei, or some, like I've seen different, you know, things added on to the name to address them. So I'm still trying to figure that out as to like what that all means. But basically, I Want to Eat Your Pancreas is about the girl Shakira, who is basically, she has pancreas cancer. Yes. And so how this all ends up being found out is that him, the boy, he was at the hospital for like a procedure, a surgical procedure, and he loves books. He's like a quiet, to himself, nerdy, introvert, antisocial type of person, and he loves reading. So when he had the procedure finished, he went back to the lobby to sit down. He then found a book, what he assumed to be a book, in the seat that he was going to sit in. So he decided, as a book nerd, to pick it up and try to read it. He ends up reading it and finding out that it was actually a journal from someone, and that how they were talking about how basically they have pancreatic cancer and how they're gonna die and all this. And he's just like, oh my god, I'm reading someone's journal. Then we end up finding out that it's Shakira's journal. She ends up going back to the hospital in that little lobby, and it's basically right in front of the boy and saying, that's my journal. And so of course with her, we ended up finding out that she's like the Miss Popular. She's like the Miss Popular girl. She's sweet. Everybody loves her. She's so talkative. She's so bubbly. Everybody loves her at school. And so they're like the two polar opposites. He's so quiet. He's introverted. He doesn't really have friends. And then she's, on the other hand, is so like extroverted. She has so many friends, and she's just so popular. And he just found out that this popular girl, who everybody loves, is going to die from her pancreas and stuff like that. So basically, he is the only one who knows about this. She refused to tell any of her friends because she doesn't want any of her friends to treat her differently. And so she only knows, like, she hangs out with him because not only does he know, but she knows that with him knowing, he won't treat her any differently, and that he'll treat her the exact same as if she didn't have anything wrong with her pancreas. And so that's why she really likes hanging out with him. While as for him, he's just like, I don't really want to hang out with you because he's such an introverted person. He ain't really about the whole hanging out with people and stuff like that. But they go on this adventure of just doing things because, I mean, again, like we said, she's gonna die. They already know she's gonna die, so she's just like, let's just live our best life and let's just do all this stuff. And he's just like, okay. But yeah, it's just this adventure about life and you know, what type of person you want to be during your life, because life is so short and you just never know when life's going to take you, and what type of person do you want to be, and what type of, you know, person do you want to be to other people, you know, and just the experience with people. And it's really a beautiful story. It's so heartwarming, and I got sad. I got teary-eyed. I ain't gonna cap. I didn't cry, but I did get teary-eyed. And I heard with the actual movie of this that you will cry, and I kind of want to watch it. I do, but it is so beautiful. It's such a beautiful story. I just love how they're polar opposites, but how in the end they ended up really wanting to be the other person, you know, because I don't want to give too much away, but it's just such a beautiful story between the two of them. And I kind of didn't see the ending, but then I kind of did see the end. I saw the ending right when it was about to happen, so I wasn't like, oh, this is going to happen as soon as the end, because I just knew, you know, with her pancreas, that was going to be it for her. But it was just a very beautiful story. I definitely suggest that everyone, you know, this could definitely be like your first manga read to get into manga, because it is like an all-in-one story. Like, there are no other volumes you need to get with this series. It's just simply this one, and then that's it. But yeah, again, it is I Want to Eat Your Pancreas by Yoru Samino, and then the art is by Idumi Kirihara. Again, I'm so sorry if I'm butchering those names. But yeah, that is my last 5-star read. I had a total of 12 books in the month of January. Your girl, I think, I think I'm already past 12 in the month of February. I'm not going to do a February TBR because, girl, I've already read, again, probably over 12 books already. So y'all would just see the books I've read in February either in my reading vlogs this month or my February wrap-up. But yeah, you guys, I really do hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please make sure you give this video a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button. Also, make sure you turn your notification bell so you're notified every time I upload a video. And with all that being said, I will see you guys in my next one. Bye. Also, don't forget to tell me how y'all like the camera and the audio. Like, let me know in the comments down below. I need to know. Like, we feeling this? We need to send it back. Like, let your girl know, okay? But yeah, bye.